Hello dear students, how are you? I hope you are doing well. So today's lecture is about the continuation of our previous lecture, concept of health, wellness, illness and disease. So as you know, in our previous lecture we have discussed about health, wellness, determinants of health, indicators of health. So in today's lecture we will discuss about disease, illness and sickness, natural history of disease, concept of control and level of prevention. So, what is disease? So, according to the ecological point of view, disease is a maladjustment of human organism to the environment. And according to the Webster, health that is a condition in which body health is impaired, and it is a departure from the state of health, and it is an alteration of human body interrupting the performance of the vital functions of the human body. So, according to the Oxford University, it is an pathological condition in which body or some parts or organs of the body and in its functions are disturbed and deranged. So, this is the definition of disease, pathological state in which a person body cannot be able to perform their functions properly. So now comes illness. Illness that is a highly personal state in which person's physical, emotional, intellectual, social development and spiritual functionings are thought to be diminished. So illness जो है वो that is a personal state in which persons feel unhealthy and ill. So it is associated with disease, but sometimes it occur independently. So there are two types of illnesses, acute illness and chronic illness. So acute illness, these are the symptoms of disease that uh, relatively occur for a shorter period of time. So chronic illness, these are the symptoms of the disease that last for longer period of time, like 6 months or longer. So now distinction between disease, disease, illness and sickness. So disease that is a physiological, psychological dysfunction of the body. Illness that is a subjective state of a person who feel aware of not being well. So illness is what a sick person feel, which also includes symptoms. So sickness that is a state of social dysfunction, role that a person assume when ill. So here is an example for you. If a sick person feel high temperature, headache, so doctor categorize it as a malaria. So malaria is a disease, and the symptom he is suffering increased temperature and headache, that is illness, and sickness is the role he was performing when he was healthy. So now he will not be able to perform his social functions. So that is sickness. So now comes the natural history of disease. So diseases जो हैं वो they are mainly occur when there is interaction between man, agent and environment. So natural history of disease, these are the ways in which a disease evolve over a period of time from earliest stage to the termination stage in absence of treatment and prevention. So there are four stages of disease, natural history of disease. Number one stage, that is stage of susceptibility. In this stage there are risk factors are present that favors the occurrence of disease, like host factors include age, sex, race, family history and environmental factors. They include exposure to infectious agent and obesity. So in stage of susceptibility the person remain free of clinical disease. So in second stage, that is a stage of pre-symptomatic disease. It is also called pre-pathogenesis phase. In this phase, man is not involved, but man is exposed to the risk factor of the disease. So mainly, as I told you before, that host, agent and environment, when they interact with each other, then they initiate the pathogenic change. So in pre-pathogenesis stage, man is not involved, but he is exposed to risk factors of the disease. So there is probability that he can get disease. So still the disease does not clinically manifest in this stage. So stage 3, that is a stage of clinical disease. or pathogenesis phase. In this phase, the particular sign and symptoms of disease they develop in this stage. So next stage, that is a stage of termination in which disease terminates. So now disease, in this stage disease can follow following trends. It can resolve spontaneously, there are no consequences, and the second trend could be it settle down but there are some consequences, and the third, that is disease is not resolving at all and there is a death of the person. So if the disease resolve up to some extent but there are some consequences like impairment, disability and handicap. So what is impairment? Impairment is a loss or abnormality of psychological and physiological or anatomical structure and functions. For example, loss of foot, defective vision, mental retardation. So impairment will be visible or invisible, it could be temporary, permanent, progressive and regressive. So what is disability? Any restriction or lack of activity to perform an activity in a manner or within the range considered normal for the human being, that is disability. So handicap, these are the definite disadvantage for a person from impairment or disability that limits or prevent the fulfillment of his role he was performing before. For example, a person is having accident, he lowers his foot, that is impairment, and he cannot walk, that is disability, and he cannot perform his work, he is unemployed, that is handicap. So now comes the concept of control. So disease control, that is refers to the ongoing operation that aimed at reducing the incidence of disease, reducing the duration of disease and risk of transmission, and it reduces the effects of infection like psychological effects and physical effects and complications of disease, and it also reduces the burden, financial burden to the community. So when we'll talk about concept of control, disease control, then we will discuss three terminologies: prevention, elimination and eradication. So elimination, that means stopping the transmission of a disease in a specific geographical area or a country but not worldwide. For example, elimination of measles and polio. And eradication means permanent reduction of disease to zero case through deliberate measures such as vaccines, etc. So there is only one disease that is fully eradicated in human history, that is smallpox. So now comes prevention. What is disease prevention? These are the activities designed to protect the patient and other members of the public from actual and potential health threats and their harmful consequences. So prevention depends upon the knowledge of causation, dynamics of transmission, and identification of risk factors and risk groups, and availability of prophylactic or early detection, and it also depends upon the treatment measures. So there are mainly four levels of prevention: primordial prevention, primary prevention, secondary prevention and tertiary prevention. So in primordial prevention there is susceptibility. We should reduce the risk factors of the disease. And in primary prevention, before disease before the disease occur we will do prevention, and in secondary when disease occur, that is in pathogenesis phase, primary prevention will do in pre-pathogenesis phase, and secondary prevention will be done in pathogenesis phase, and tertiary prevention that will limit the disability and impairment and disability, and there will be rehabilitation in this phase. So primordial prevention, in this prevention actions and measures they are taken that inhibit the emergence of risk factors. So we'll take these interventions. For example, there are many health problems that have their early origin in childhood because it is the time when lifestyles form. For example, smoking, eating patterns, and physical exercises. So primordial prevention efforts are directed toward discouraging children for adopting these harmful lifestyles. So the main interventions in primordial prevention is through individual or mass education. So now comes the primary prevention. These are the actions that are taken prior to the onset of disease, which removes the possibility that a disease will occur. So it signifies interventions in pre-pathogenesis phase of the disease, as I told you before. So in primary prevention, that can be accomplished through health promotion and specific protection. So what is health promotion and specific protection? So health promotion, it is a process in which you will enable people to control over the determinants of health, so and improve their own health, and it is not directed against any particular disease, but its aim is to improve the general health of the population and improve the quality of life of the individuals. So here are examples of health promotion. Health promotion includes health education. You will educate the general public. Environmental modifications, such as provision of safe water, installation of sanitary latrines, control of insects and rodents, and improvement of housing. These are all included in environmental modification. So nutritional interventions, provision of adequate nutrition to the vulnerable groups, such as during growth, pregnancy, or adolescence. So lifestyle and behavioral changes, these include encourage physical activity, discourage smoking, and modifying dietary patterns. So now what is specific protection? These are the measures that are applicable to a particular disease or a group of diseases. So to intercept the cause of the disease before it involves human being. So specific protection include immunization against the communicable diseases, and chemoprophylaxis, this is the administration of chemicals to a person to prevent the development of infections, and use of specific nutrients and supplements. So before the occurrence of disease, so you will use supplements before the occurrence of disease. For example, you will give vitamin C to reduce the occurrence of scurvy. You will give calcium and vitamin D to reduce the risk of rickets, and vitamin B1 to reduce the risk of beriberi. So these are the use of specific nutrients and supplements. So protection against occupational hazards. And occupational hazards, these are the hazards that that a person is having at the workplace, like slips, falls, etc. So safety of drugs and food, these are all specific interventions. And control of environmental hazards like air pollution, these are all lies in category of specific protection. So there are two main, WHO has recommended two approaches for primary prevention: population strategy and high risk strategy. In population strategy, whole population will involve in this strategy. You will educate the whole population irrespective of individuals risk level. And in high risk strategy, the aim is to bring preventive care to the individual who are at high risk for developing a disease. So now comes secondary prevention. Secondary prevention, it is a type of intervention that applies at pathogenesis phase. So these, it can be defined as the actions which stop the progress of disease at its early stage and prevent complications. So this can be done via early diagnose. You can screening test or done in this stage, and prompt treatment if there is any, if you get disease. So early detection and treatment will prevent the spread of communicable disease to other, will prevent complication, will arrest the disease, and limit the disability. So here is an example uh, for early diagnosis and treatment. So case finding procedures such as sputum examination and all radiological examination, chest x-rays, these are all directed toward the detection of pulmonary TB when disease is dormant. So these are all screening tests. So screening examination of school children for detection and correction of defects, these are all included in secondary prevention. So tertiary prevention, it is used when the disease process has advanced beyond its stages. So all measures available here to reduce or limit the impairment and disability and promote the patient adjustment to irremediable condition. So intervention that should be accomplished in this stage of tertiary prevention, these are disability limitation and rehabilitation. So disability limitation, the objective of disability limitation is to prevent and stop the transition of disease process from impairment to handicap. So impairment to handicap, you have to stop this progression or spread. So that is disability limitation. So rehabilitation, these are the combined and coordinated use of medical, social, educational and vocational measures for training and retraining the individuals to the highest possible level of functional ability. So there are mainly four types of rehabilitation. Medical rehabilitation. So medical rehabilitation means restoration of functions. If TB has spread to the knee joint, physiotherapy or surgery is done to correct it. And vocational rehabilitation, these are restoration of the capacity to earn a livelihood. And social rehabilitation is restoration of family and social relationship. And psychological rehabilitation, that is restoration of person's dignity and confidence. So now comes monitoring. What is monitoring? Monitoring is the performance and analysis of routine measurements aimed at detecting change in environment and health status of the population. So we can monitor for air pollution, water quality, monitoring for water quality, growth and nutritional status monitoring. These are all analysis of routine measurements. So monitoring is a periodic collection and analysis of the indicators of health like this water, growth and nutritional status, and they detect deviation from the established practice. And surveillance, that is the continuous scrutiny, continuous inspection of the factors that determine the occurrence and distribution of disease and other conditions of ill health. So surveillance, continuous collection and analysis of health event, and they monitor the trend, incidence, prevalence, geographical spread and outbreak of a disease. So these two terminologies are also included in the concept of control of a disease. So we should monitor and there should be a surveillance of disease factors. So if you have any question, then you can type below. Thank you.